Hello, it's Kristen from Life of Crafting, and I'm kind of behind because of vacations and stuff. Today is July 1st, and I haven't even looked at the Sheetload of Cards sketch for this month. And I thought I did this months already, so I'm really kind of behind now. So I'm challenging myself. I really just randomly picked out of my bins a paper pack I had not worked on. I knew I needed a 12 by 12 because this was a 12 by 12 series, and I said I am going to just randomly pick a paper, and whatever it is, I'm going to do with it. So what I picked out was the Twas the Night Before Christmas, Volume 1 from Echo Park, and I'm going to take a stab at saying that this is probably an older pack because of I bought it with at one of my craft weekends away, and it was like in a bin of like for $10, which I thought was a really good price. Anyway, it calls for 3 different papers, pattern papers, and 5 solid cardstocks. Again, I like to do different layers, so we'll see how that works out. I may use different. I've done a fun fold card like this before. I wish I had saved the one I did from a Stampin' Up class from several years ago, because it was a beauty. And it would have been perfect to highlight how this sketch works. So I don't have the paper anymore. It was a printed craft paper. It was, I guess, quite a few years ago. So I am familiar with how this is going to work as far as the folding. So that'll give me a heads up. And this particular one, I'm going to go through. It does have some stickers. I really have not been a fan of stickers. I've not really worked with stickers. So we'll see if I can find a way to incorporate them in. I may not with this sketch because it does call for a banner across the front. Again, we'll see. I want to try and stick as close as I can to that. So these particular ones, I've not worked with a full Echo Park pad, full like straight through. I have one I started, and I do need to get back to it. Maybe I should have just pulled that one out. Anyway, so it's got 2 sheets with this damask on one side and a like candies and yeah, it's all kind of candies. The old ribbon candies, and looks like gumdrops and all kinds of like candy canes and Starburst. So cute patterns. This one has a wreath print on one side and sentiment sheets on the other. So, you know, maybe that would be a good thing to work with for the inside. You know, I could probably cut them down to fit that, because that inside dimension is going to be, let's see what the recipe for this one called for. It calls for a 4 1/4. So it's going to wind up being 4 1/4 high by maybe it looks like 4 1/4 long. I said, excuse me. Oh no, they're calling for a 4 by 4A, a 4 by 3. Oh, okay. So the base is 4 1/4 by 9. Okay, is the base. The fun fold in the front is going to be 3 1/4 by 4 1/4. So if these are 3-inch, this may work. I may be able to just pull. No, these are much larger. These are a 4-inch by 4-inch. So they may not work. I was thinking that would really kind of work out, but they're much larger of a cut apart than I'm kind of familiar with. So we'll see. So that's that one. Then stuff just dropping off my lights. I have an OT light next to me, and I tend to put the rag on top of the light so that I know where it is. And of course it just fell down. Because, you know, whenever you need a rag real fast to wipe something up, it's never right there. This is a candy cane stripe, and then the back has, ooh, a really pretty, like pine bough and berries and just a leaf print. That's really pretty. Then we're working into a snowflake color that's kind of like a really dark gray with some gift packages, some candy canes. Why do I only have one candy cane? Oh. So there's cut parts there, but somehow I'm sure this one has the Santa, and that one has Argyle. On my, that's that one. I think I got shorted a piece of paper. So there's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, a sticker sheet. So let's see what I'm supposed to get. I'm supposed to get 12 double-sided sheets. So I was shorted one of these, and that's a shame, because those cut-aparts may actually have worked, because these are a smaller one, and I know that the sketch calls for it to open like this way, but yeah, the cut-aparts go this way, so I don't know that they would work. So I guess I'm gonna make this one of my sheets so that I can keep my pattern. I like to keep things even in totals. We're gonna just randomly close our eyes and pull out 2 other sheets. So there's that one and one more towards like the front. So we'll go with that one. So those are the sheets that we are going to make these cards up. So let's see what we've got. We got candy canes, an Argyle, or a Santa, which I think is a little busy if I want to mix and match. Oh, the damask and the so we've got some really pretty patterns that I can mix and match with. This one is not going to work for me in a sense of anything other than the one side though. So according to this, I need to cut my 12 by 12 sheets, cardstock 2. I guess this is the 12 by 12. 1, 2. So how many cards am I gonna get? I'm gonna get 6 cards. Oh, because I'm getting 2 cards out of 1 sheet, and then I have scraps. So we will do this paper for our cut. We're going to cut this up, and then I need to find. So one will be the base, so it will have that layer behind, and then I will have a second one that is this fold over, and that's going to give me my layer behind that. So I don't need extra layers unless I feel like I need to bring in more color to kind of get this all mixing, matching together. Because looking at these prints, I do need a red and I do need a green. And this pattern is a cream background one. So I think I'm going to start with a cream base on here. And I'm probably going to want to add a layer in there to give me some oomph. And then, like I said, we'll see if we can work with getting the stickers maybe incorporated on this. So I'm going to start my cutting away here, and I will be back. So I'm cutting my papers, and I'm getting myself, like, I tend to do like a concept card first. And I'm realizing that, you know, I'm going with my heavyweight base from Hobby Lobby. And you kind of have this design that goes like this. So I did one, and I modified my cuts, and you'll see if you do, you'll get 3 cards out of a sheet, and you'll have no waste. So this is going to be your base layer. Then it calls for a 4x4, so we'll just stick this one there. This is just, like I said, just kind of laying it out. And then this becomes the fancy fold that they're talking about. Well, this one, she has you cutting the paper for it at 3 1/4 for the cardstock, and she has you cutting a 4-inch strip, and then you're kind of doing this weird angle here. And then this piece needs to be 3 inches. Well, I modified this, and I don't know if I do it with this sheet that it's going to work. So I'm going to not do this paper because, again, the back is this cut apart. I'm going to pull in one where there really isn't as much. Let me see. Like this one won't really matter which direction, if the stripes are going up or the stripes are going sideways. So we're going to do it with this one. So first, to make this little bit of a modification, if you cut your strip off, which, you know, is that little manufacturer strip. So the first cut she has you make is a 4-inch by 4-inch. So here's what happened is you were supposed to cut this at 4 and then cut this 4, 4, and 3. I didn't do that. What I did was I took this and I went and did my 4 by 4. And then I did my 4 and 5 1/4 because I'm always thinking in, can I do this in some increments of 2, 3, or 4? Because if you can do it in 2, 3s, and 4s, you can get even numbers out of a 12 by 12 sheet. So by me doing this at 5 1/4, I'm now left with a piece that is 4 by 3, okay? So what's gonna happen is, yes, this piece on the front is where this is going, okay? Or we'll do the stripe to make it a little bit more. I can add a layer behind that, but if I just cut this down from 3 1/4, and we'll cut it to, let's say, like 3 1/8. I'm only missing that little bit of a sliver, and you really won't notice it in the design. I'm gonna put another layer behind this. I may have to just trim it a little bit shorter to fit so the dimensions are right, but you won't, my point is you won't even notice in the design by the time you're done that there's a little, that it wasn't 3, I'm only at 2 3/4 wide. And by doing this, I can get this one at 4 inches. So how I did this is 4. So now I'm going to get 3 cards. I'm not going to have any scraps because I'm going to cut both of these I'm going to do my 4 by 4 inch first. Then I'm going to do what I need, which is the 4 by 5 1/4. And then that's going to leave me that little bit for the front. So if you do this little bit of a modification, instead of just cut that 4, 4, and 4, 4, 5 1/4, and leave that remaining piece, you'll have no scraps on this, and you're going to have 3 cards coming out of these papers instead of 2. So that means you're going to have 9 cards out of your 3 sheets of paper instead of only 6. And again, there'll be no scraps. So I'm hoping that little bit of a help will yield you, I hope I could explain that well enough that you can see the benefit for this to yield you more cards in your designs. So now I'm going to, I kind of made a mistake in my first one here, which is why I like doing these first. So now I'm going to lay out, I'm going to have, here's my 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to start laying these out now, and I'm going to go get myself what these combinations are going to be, because this side is, I can easily bring in this green that I've gotten from Hobby Lobby, and that'll match. The reds are going to be a little more tough for me to go find one that's going to match. So I've got to watch that I don't have a ton of like busy, or a ton of just like red to red. Like, you know, I don't want everything to be like very monochromatic either. So I'm going to start laying these out and how I'm going to use up my combinations, and start cutting out some I do want to do, like I said, I only have the extra heavyweight in white. They have it in white, cream, craft, and there may be a black. I don't know. This design may look nice on a craft. I haven't looked, but I'm gonna just run it with the cream. And like I said, the only thing I gotta find, which is the green, which I already have, and I just have to go find a red, and this is gonna go together really easy. The hardest thing for me is gonna be finding what my sentiment is gonna be. And I bet you these 9 cards will come together. I could probably do these in like an hour, which that is phenomenal to me. I'm really, really excited that I can get that kind of volume that quickly. And if I can use the stickers, that's gonna be, ooh, that's gonna be so much faster too. So we will be back after we work this out. So I'm back, and I really, really like how these came out. Like I said, I stuck with one. Let me get this out of the way for right now. I stuck with one busy side, and I left the other, you know, with the patterns. So I was really happy with that. I did kind of redraw a sketch here to give you an idea about how I cut my 12 by 12. If that gives you a better understanding of how I did it to get the 9. If you want to pause the video, I wanted to give you that. I also made a point as I wrote myself in that both of these were scored at 4 1/4 because it was getting kind of confusing trying to cut all the different stuff and not make mistakes, because again, this left me with 0 scraps, so that was exciting. The only scraps I have are from cutting. I did add layers. One of the things I did make this card, like I said, a version of it in the past, and I did want to make a point, is that when you do this layer, you're going to put this bottom layer on first. Then I did this one, and some of my papers I did get limited what I could use because you have to watch that they go in the right direction. But when you put this on, you're putting the paper on one side, and then you have to center it in this page because that's where you're going to be writing your sentiment. So when this closes, that's how you're doing it. The version I made previous was they put a nice die cut on the front that said joy in glitter paper, and that was really nice and really classy. I had really, like I said, it was a printed craft paper that Stampin' Up! It did before, and the person that I learned this from, that was her design. So I was looking at this one, and the only thing I haven't done yet was there is a part that you cut that's 1 by 3 1/2 that goes in the front with a sentiment and a fishtail. So I could leave this like that. Again, I'm sorry, I'm still fighting some of the congestion here. So I may do that, and that may be what I can end with. I'm not sure yet. But I was looking back at the stickers because, again, I was trying to use up this paper pack, and that includes the stickers for me. And I thought, well, can I use or incorporate some of this in there? But what I'm finding is a lot of what's on here is sentiments. You know, like this is a sentiment, this is a sentiment, this is a sentiment, this is a sentiment. I don't know that there's feasibly even 9 things. You know, like the tree I could cut, that would only give me part of it. And to me, what's the point of that? I got 1 candy cane. I like to do the crossing of the 2. I do have this piece here. I have a Santa that, so I'm looking realistically, I would only have maybe 4 or 5 components for my 9, and it would take me more work than me just doing them all the same. So this sticker stuff is not going to work for me on this. Again, it's not bad. If it doesn't work out, these can always be used in other cards, sketches down the road. So, like I said, I was thinking, because this is a little boring on here, you know, it does look a little bare. So I think what I may do to kind of dress this up is find myself a nice sentiment that's going to fill this in, and I think I'm going to gold emboss it so that it really gives some just that little extra touch on these. I'm really debating as I may, and when I come back with the final cards, I may wind up just blowing the whole paper pack out with this sketch because I forgot how much I really did like it, and it is fast. May not seem that way, but it is fast. So here's what I got, like I said, so far, and I'll be back. Welcome back. I started this last night, which was the first, and I was telling you I was going to go do some sentiments, and then I just said, you know what, I'm just going to use up this whole paper pack because I told you that I have so much paper, it's crazy. And I started cutting, and one of the problems I ran into from the beginning was that because they had cut aparts on the back of some of these, it made it difficult to do it, to keep it with the no scraps. So I was able to cut them up, and I had to be very conscientious because of the way certain patterns went in certain directions. And there's a couple I'm thinking are like this, where there's two busy patterns together that I wasn't really happy about, but I'm gonna just roll with it. What I want to show you is this is what I had that's scraps. And I'm gonna try and do some kind of layout that kind of, I'll be honest, how I just cut this up and it worked out perfectly that I have scraps with these 3 different cut apart seams on the back I can use. I don't know how I did it, but it worked out perfectly. So I started laying these out. I'm like, you know what, I can find some kind of a card sketch that's gonna let me do this kind of like this. So it's just playing around with these to get an idea what I wanted. And then I'll have these 2 scraps and this. So I think I can do some stuff with this. Again, I still did not do anything with, I realized this is, like I said, my first effort with one of these Echo Parks, and I reread, and I thought I was one short on this candy cane print that I just had in here, but it's not. They consider the cover of this as a sheet. So I wound up not knowing is that they consider this a sheet, but you really lose one of the prints because it being the front of the paper. So I lost the candy cane print, but I'm gaining these cut aparts on the back. So I would have these cut aparts that if I can come up with a nice sketch for this, like I was showing you, I could use my couple of scraps here and maybe do a couple more of these cut aparts with that. So I'm thinking I may do that. And then in addition is I do get some scrap that I could use in these like strips at the top. So if I could place them in such a way, I may be able to like get like this, like 2 of them. I don't know yet. And I still have my stickers that I haven't done anything with. So that could help with using up the scraps. So I will now be back. I'm gonna wind up getting, I don't even know how many more cards out of using up the whole paper pack and blowing it out. And then when I come back, I will have all of these like this glued together, and I'll have my sentiment. I'm still thinking that I'm going to use, this is the scraps you get when you cut apart for the bases. I'm thinking I will have, I still think I'm going to do some kind of gold embossing with a sentiment for it and call it quits then. So I'll be back. So here we are at the end of the June 2022 sketch for the sheetload of cards. And again, I did the Twas the Night Before Christmas from Echo Park, and I wound up getting 31 cards from this design. Again, I had basically 11 sheets to work with, and I should have had 33, but because of the way the cuts were with the cut aparts, what I could physically use out of the paper, I only got 31. But I think being how much paper is used in this design, that is great. Because, you know, that these are full sheets on the inside. So I'm very happy with that. I'm feeling like you could dress these up a little bit more if you wanted. I did the embossing on it, which took a little bit of time. To do all 31, I probably could have got these done in about 3 hours, but I did take longer with this embossing, which you don't have to do. But you could also dress this up a little bit. I was debating about doing like maybe a little snowflake, or I have a small holly punch that you could just put something on there, but I decided I'm gonna just let them go. They're really nice, and you know, the prints tell the story, so I'm gonna just let it go with these papers and wrap up this series for this sheet load of cards. And I am really happy. I used up a full paper pack. I do have the scraps I showed you before that I'm going to put away, and I'm going to do, like I said, I want to do a weekly video of different cards, and it'll be just a using up your scraps series. So they're going to go in rotation for that. So check back for more inspiration. I would love it if you had some thumbs up if you liked this video, or you subscribe down below. I don't know what else to say. I was really happy with how this whole thing turned out. I do like this paper. Like I said, different papers have different finishes, and this is one I expect I'll be getting more Echo Park. I really do like this. So I wish you well in your endeavors, and love to see you next time. Take care. Bye. I forgot to mention I wanted them cleaning up, and I realized I didn't tell you that the stamp I used came from this memory box. It was called Christmas Tiles. Honestly, I bought this like as a clearance off of like a Joann site or something. I have a feeling it should have been part of like another, I think it had like a wooden sign or something, and you were supposed to like put these in there. I don't remember, but this was like all that was left. But I really liked the size of these, and some of the embossing powder I used was the Stampin' Up from their gold, and I'm trying to use that up. And I did some in Brutus Monroe's gold, and I'll be honest, I found the Brutus Monroe gold a little bit more matte than in comparison to the Stampin' Up one. So let's wrap up on that. Thanks again. See you.